Hello, everybody. This is Jeremy, Jets Chaos with Jeremy. And as you can see, I'm with my brother Lee. We're going to have some chaos
Yo.
right after this.
Oh yeah, go. Amazing, that's my boy.
He breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down.
Oh, Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch.
He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too.
It's no good. Overtime. Oh, what a catch. How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown.
This is a touchdown all the way.
He reached over the pylon. San Francisco beat Cincinnati.
Hey, thanks for having me back on your show. I didn't know after that last one whether it was going to happen again.
The last one was fun.
Yeah, it was. We talked about like how the Jets stack up this year versus last year at this time and how they finished the year. And you made your prediction. I think you said 8-9 or something, 7-10. And so this time we're going to dig down into that prediction. And we're going to predict the entire season, or I'll predict it too, but my predictions are from someone that doesn't know anything. And then you'll analyze it and give us better predictions than I can give us. And maybe you'll change my opinion.
Sounds good.
Change my opinion, huh?
Sounds good.
Yeah, so we're just going to do the first 4 games. We're going to see how long it takes of the season. This is, in my opinion, potentially an 0-4 start. So we'll see what you have to say. The first game, they played the Ravens. And to me, the Ravens are a talented team, a good team. They had a good draft. They're going to be super solid. The Jets are going to be untested, and they haven't worked with each other a lot. So I'm going to say that this is the Ravens game. What do you say?
How long do I have to convince you?
You're not convincing me. You're just going to analyze it and predict. And I think you could take 10, 15 minutes to do it. Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think that the Ravens game, I do think if someone had a gun to my head, I would take the Ravens in this game. But it's for some certain reasons. It's not going to be, I'm not expecting it to be a blowout. I'm expecting to get off to a rough start again because we have so many new players on the team again, so much youth. I think that there's even Becton coming back hasn't shown mastery of the offensive scheme yet because he got hurt so early last year. I think that there's the Ravens are a team that's going to take advantage of that. They're more consistent. They're established in their system more. So I think that really what their edge is going to be the first half of the game. I think that's what's going to maybe overcome us as the Jets. But I think that we will get much stronger in the second half. I think it's going to be very competitive. I don't think
Jeremy, we're not playing the Ravens the entire season. It's just a game. You think they're going to improve that much from the first half to the second half?
I think they'll settle down in the second half. I think that they will. I think that they'll settle down. I don't think they'll win the game, but I think they're going to make it competitive. I would expect the Ravens to be up something like 17-3 or 14-3, maybe 13-3, something like that after the first half. We're not going to be very happy, but then we're only going to lose by a touchdown, maybe 24-21, something like that. Be very close, very competitive game. There's nothing about the Ravens that scare me too much. The one thing that scares me about the Ravens, though, and the reason I think that's going to be what's going to be the most difficult part for us is that I think that they can expose our biggest weakness. And our biggest weakness is the middle of the field linebacker position.
Yeah.
We are very bad in the middle. And Lamar Jackson is the type of quarterback that can really make you pay for that.
Yeah.
If he gets around that first line of defense, our defensive line could get through, but he has great escapability. And if he gets through, if we over pursue him and does screen passes to his running back, or if he gets through, the linebackers I don't trust at all are going to be able to slow him down. And I think that's going to be the difference. I think that in the fourth quarter, if the Ravens have a drive that either seals closes the door on us or wins the game, I think it's going to be that we just can't stop Lamar Jackson from running because we don't have the linebackers to do it. Some people say Whitehead, the safety, but I think that they're going to make adjustments and you need to be complete. You can't just have a safety fill in for everyone. And they're going to have to be playing the pass in the fourth quarter if it's a close game. And I just think that that's going to be the difference, our lack of linebacker. I think that there's going to be pieces this season, when we look at how complete the roster feels and how good we can potentially do. I think the thing that's going to hold us back all year and prevent us from really being where we want to be is that we just don't have the full linebacker room yet.
I'm agreeing with everything you're saying, except I think it's more applicable if it was like the 5th or 6th or 7th game. First game, I just think a lot of these players, it's going to be overwhelming, especially going up against the kind of team like Ravens, that kind of quarterback that could hurt you in so many ways,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if they played the Ravens later in the season, they would be much better off.
Yeah.
And it would be a much more winnable game. But I do think we're going to make it close because we're in MetLife. The fans are pumped up. We're going to be playing like it's the Super Bowl. And I think that the coaches are coming in with a little bit more experience, better offensive line. Zach Wilson's going to be a little better because of that. He's not going to be the Zach Wilson we saw in the beginning of last year. So I do think I don't see the Jets not being competitive in their games like last year. I think that we're going to be, for the most part, very, very competitive in almost all of the football games.
Okay, you want to move on? So we agree. So you're not trying to convince me of anything.
I think it's going to be Ravens in a close one.
Yeah, I think maybe there's more spread than you do, but I hope you're right. I'm a Jets fan. You made me a Jets fan. All right. Okay, Cleveland. For Cleveland, from my perspective, they have quarterback issues, and I think that's going to help the Jets a lot. I still think the Jets are going to lose because they're still a good, solid team, and I don't think the Jets will be feeling their way yet. They'll be on the road, so I still think it goes against the Jets, but I think it's going to be a better game for them.
I don't think so. I think that Deshaun Watson almost 90% won't be playing.
Yeah.
Because there's no way he's not getting some suspension. That would leave Brissett, who's probably going to be their quarterback. Now, if you look at the Browns, they're not a very good team. They have good players, but they're not a good team. They don't play well together. They break down. They fall apart. Baker Mayfield, I think, was very mistreated. I think he's a decent, even better than average quarterback who's playing injured. And I think that there was no one on that team that pulled together and rose above that. There was nobody else able to do some lifting.
Baker was trying to love Mayfield. You used to love Mayfield.
I really like Mayfield.
Yeah.
I think in a different situation, Mayfield could be a very dangerous quarterback. And I think he was. I think a year ago, before, in 20, I think he brought them to the playoffs. When's the last time the Browns went to the playoffs? I mean, Baker Mayfield brought them to the playoffs. He was a playoff quarterback. He brought them there. I know they have individually good players, but they're not great character guys. They're not team guys. They're individual, hired, kind of missionary type players. And they're not of great character. Whenever there's any kind of adversity, this team falls apart. That's why last year, Baker, even hurt, was as good as Brissett is, but what happened to them? They fell apart. The Jets are going to be settled in by then, and they're going to take advantage of that. And with the Jets' defensive line and a guy like Brissett, the Jets are going to eat him alive. So I think the Jets are actually going to win that game, and I think they're going to win it convincingly by a good 10 points.
Wow. You have not convinced me, but I do think you have convinced me it's going to be a closer game. I still think on the road is going to be tough. It's early in the season. The Jets are depending on a lot of young players. I don't know. But you moved me to a closer game.
I mean, if Deshaun Watson doesn't play this year, I could see Cleveland ending up 5-12. I don't think they're a strong team without a quarterback.
So let's go back. Let's go back to the first game, and then I'll ask the same question with the second game. So when you look back at the first game, what's going to be the big, surprise, good surprise and bad surprise for the Jets in that first game?
I think that the bad surprise is going to be the offensive line will disappoint, and people are expecting them to be so good. And I do think they're going to be so good, but I think game one, it's going to be a little chaotic, and they're going to struggle a little bit. I think there's also going to just be mistakes because we're going to have 5 new guys on defense, 5 new faces. And I think there's going to be some broken plays, and that Baltimore is with Lamar Jackson is a broken play. He's an off script type quarterback. And I think he's going to burn us a couple of times. So I think that's going to be a little, kind of like the difference. I think that we're going to have trouble stopping their run game. And I think that will be the major theme of the game. Like at the end, when they say, why did the Jets lose? It'll be because we couldn't stop Lamar Jackson or their running game in general because of our lack of linebackers.
What's going to be the good news from the game? Why are people going to feel still pumped even though they lost?
Because Zach is not going to come out and look like a rookie. Zach's going to look like a quarterback. He's going to play strong and keep them in the game. Even though they're going to be running on us and keeping him off the field a lot, he's going to be able to make some nice big plays, some flashes, enough to score some points. Again, 24-21, whether it's 27-24. We're going to have some good drives. It's going to be because of Zach. He's going to make some sweet plays. We're going to see, and we're probably going to see some nice things from Breece Hall, some from our linebackers. The offense is going to look a lot better.
So you said the offensive line was going to let us down a bit. So you think Zach will still have time to throw the ball?
Yeah, I think it's more in the running game. We're just not going to be dominant. We're not going to have the dominant running game that we're hoping to. We're going to just be okay. So we're just going to be an okay, decent offense. But the problem is they're just not going to be on the field enough. I think that Baltimore is really going to take advantage of our linebacker situation. I think they'll have 35 minutes of possession to our 25. And I think that's what's going to be the difference. Our inability to get their offense off the field. But when our offense is on the field, I don't think our offense will look bad.
And against the Browns, what's the bad? The bad against the Browns.
The bad against the Browns. They have some good running backs. So, again, we might get exposed with some short game. That'll frustrate us. Not enough to beat us. But I do think that there'll still be obvious rooms for growth there. Like we're going to still be saying, I think that's going to be a theme of the year, that we're going to be really whining about getting beat by running plays and screen passes and shorter passes, some missed tackling in the middle of the field. Like I think that's going to be the theme. But I don't think it's enough that we're going to lose the game, but I do think it's going to make it closer than it should be. I think when we firm up that part of our game going into the future, that's when we're going to be one of the better teams in the AFC.
So you think we're going to win the game, so you can't use that as that's what we're all excited about the next day, although we will be. But what specifically are we going to be excited about that we saw happen in that second game?
I think that our defensive line is going to step up and have a much bigger game than week one. So I think there's going to be a lot of excitement about that. There's going to be a few sacks. So I think that'll be fun. We're going to make Brissett or whoever they use at quarterback look really bad at times, which is why I think we're going to win the game. We'll get off the field. They're going to have trouble scoring. So I think we'll be excited that the defense is able to step up. And I think that Zach is going to have some big plays. I think that's when we're going to see Breece Hall explode and maybe put his mark down. I think Elijah Moore will have a big game. So I think some of our younger players are going to step up. And I think we're going to be even most excited that Zach will have even a better game than week one. And we'll start to feel really good about Zach Wilson because he'll have had 2 solid games to start the season.
I'm looking forward to some W squared action, Wilson to Wilson. So we're going to see a W squared touchdown in that second game?
I don't know if we're going to see it by week 2. Okay. I think that Wilson is not going to see a lot of plays. I mean, he'll see plays, but I think that right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be the 4th target at wide receiver. I wouldn't be surprised if it's mostly Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and even Berrios with design plays for Berrios. And then we'll see Wilson mixed in, Garrett Wilson. But I think it takes a long time to learn the routes and learn this offense. So I think just like with Elijah Moore, there's going to be an adjustment period. We might do some kind of trickery, some play, some double, like a reverse, something to put the ball in his hands and take advantage of his athleticism. But I don't think as a traditional wide receiver, we're going to see him make his mark just quite yet.
All right. So the third game is against Cincinnati, and we get Cincinnati at home. The Cincinnati, that's a pretty great team. You're not going to say they're not good, right? And they've done some work on the offensive line and some other positions. I mean, they're going to be very tough. Yeah,
they're going to. Of course, they're going to be extremely tough. They are a competitor in the AFC. I don't think that they're going to match up against Buffalo or the Chargers or Denver. I do think that they fell behind those teams. I think they played with a lot of heart last year and probably better than they were, but they are very good. I do think that one of the ways they suffered a little bit was they lost their best defensive tackle, although they did make it to the Super Bowl without him because he got hurt in the beginning of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that'll be a little rough on them. They lost an important tight end who was a big leader on that offense. I don't know if they've done a ton. They've done a little bit more to protect and have a better offensive line, but I don't think they're completed yet. So they do have some issues. They are definitely a team that's very vulnerable if he was to get hurt again. Like if they need to protect their quarterback, if their quarterback goes down, that's it.
Well,
I mean, that's a lot of teams. I'm not going to say that's
teams,
not a lot
most
of
teams.
That's most teams, but even the Jets, like if their offensive line and running game is really strong, the way their offense is set up, a guy like Michael White, if it's not Buffalo, could come in and beat a lot of teams. I think the Jets are in better position without Zach than Cincinnati is.
But that's not how we want to judge the team, right?
No. I mean, assuming that everybody's healthy, Cincinnati's going to win the game, but don't think they're just going to blow us out. We're going to be competitive. We're going to be able to run the ball on them well. We're going to put up a fight in the trenches. They might pull away at the end. It might be a 10-point game, but it's not going to be a game where we're embarrassed. It's not going to be like 31-10 or 7. It's not going to be that kind of game. They might beat us 31-21 or 31-24 or 34.
We beat them last year.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna make a respectable showing.
So I didn't ask you this on the first 2 games. You can go back and adjust it if you want, but when do you think we're going to say, holy cow, Sauce is the real deal? Like sticks like glue, not sauce.
Well, I feel that
game 3.
I feel that way now. I feel like I feel like we're going to say it game 1. I feel like there's no question about it. From game 1, that's not going to be the issue. Like we're going to know the one thing we have going into every game is we're going to take out whoever plays their X. So we don't put. I don't think we might switch and change our strategy. But for right now, I'm going to assume we don't change the scheme, and the scheme is going to be we don't play by player, we play by zone, and we play by side. I think that Sauce is going to end up playing the X receiver no matter who it is. So whether they line up Chase or they line up Higgins, it's not going to matter. It'll be Sauce. And I honestly think I'm hoping teams test him. I'm hoping if teams test him, that's good for us because that'll mean turnovers. That'll mean potential interceptions. That'll be a good thing. This guy is NFL ready. I don't think he's going to go through those rookie like headaches and heartaches and get beat and have to learn. This guy, I think, is going to be an incredibly special player. I would go as far as saying, I mean, it has to happen. I know he hasn't played it down, but if I ever had to predict or guess that a player was going to be a Hall of Famer, this is the time. This guy, to me, I feel more confident that I could sit there and say, I could see this guy, his ceiling is Hall of Fame.
Okay, so you got me very excited. I hope you're right. When do you think the rest of the league is going to be seeing on the game summaries? They still have seen enough where they say, "Wow, this guy is the real deal." Jeremy was right.
I think it'll be right off the first game because I think a lot of them know it because they all went through the draft process, and I don't think any team didn't look at him and have him ranked really high on their wish list.
Right, but that's not the fans. That's not. I'm talking about just a general fan. A general fan that just
even the general fans, like the very casual fans might not know for like half a season until people are talking about him and he's on the news all the time. But hardcore football fans, I don't care what team they root for. Like the guys that I know that like San Francisco, the guys that come on to these kind of YouTube shows, the guys that are not just casual fans, but they are hardcore where they follow football very intently, they all know already because everybody wanted Sauce Gardner. Like everybody was salivating for Sauce Gardner.
I hope you're right, man. We need some interceptions. Last year, we didn't make it happen at all there.
Well, he can only make interceptions if they throw his way.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally might be one of the like a Revis where he's on an island. Like he might just take out that side of the field.
Well, that then we'll win games.
Oh yeah,
that takes out their best receiver.
Tremendous disadvantage to have a portion of the field taken away from you on offense.
Yeah, okay, so let's move to the Steelers, and we can go past game 4 if you want because we're moving pretty fast here. It's up to you. How far we go. We do the whole darn season right now. I got time. Okay, the Steelers. We're going to be in Pittsburgh. No more Big Ben. I think that this is a game. I had this as our first win because they're just. I think they'll be going through a little bit of what we went through last year. So I think we'd be a little bit ahead of them. So I think this is a game that we could take, even though it's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't think the Steelers are the kind of team that are going to have a 4-13 type rebuild year, like where they're that bad.
Yeah,
because the coaching and the organization is too
great
good
coach
for that. But they'll certainly have a year, I think, right now where you're going to look at 7 to 9 wins. And definitely if there was ever a chance that Pittsburgh, if there's ever a year where they're going to come under 500 for the first time since like 2004, it's going to be this year. If it's going to happen at all. I see us beating them because, again, I really love our defensive line. And when we play rookie quarterbacks or just like a Trubinsky, unestablished quarterbacks, we're not the kind of team that quarterbacks will do well against that are drop back passers, that are not mobile. Drop back passers are going to have a lot of problems with Carl Lawson and JJ and Bryce Huff and Vince Curry, whoever we have coming, and JFM in the middle coming at them, and Q Williams. We're going to have a very disruptive defensive line, and I think it's going to be very difficult for Pittsburgh. And I think Najee Harris is good, but he's not the kind of running game that Baltimore and Cleveland scare me with. He's kind of like a workhorse running back. And I just don't think that he's good. He's not like the big play guy. He's not going to kill us with big plays. If we stack the box because we're pressuring the quarterback and we're able to keep 8 guys in the box, I think we'll be able to stop the run. I just don't see the Steelers. They lost Juju. They don't have the explosive playmakers like they once did. They have some good players. They have Claypool. They have he's a decent running back. He's not like Henry from Tennessee. He's not an elite running back. I just don't think there's anything that we can't handle. I think it'll be a little tough dealing with TJ Watt. We're going to have to design some plays, but it's very hard for one edge guy to stop the run. And I think that's where we're going to win this battle. We're going to win this battle the way the Steelers used to beat everybody else. We're going to beat them in the trenches. We're going to run the ball. We're going to keep them off the field. And when their offense is on the field, we're going to keep whoever they start at quarterback very out of sync. So I see us winning. I see us beating Pittsburgh.
So you see us at 500 after 4 games. That's
easy.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah. I think
that happens.
And I wouldn't be shocked if we were 3-1, but I also wouldn't be terribly shocked if we were 1-3, because there's a lot of question marks on our team. So I would be shocked at 0-4. I'd be shocked at 4-0.
4-0.
No, I'd be shocked at 0-4 or 4-0.
Yeah.
I would be shocked at the extremes.
Yeah.
3-1 wouldn't shock me. It would thrill me. It wouldn't shock me. And 1-3 would disappoint me. It wouldn't shock me.
Well, I think, I'm probably 1 win lower than you in all those categories. Like 4-0, I can't even see that happening. I'd be beyond shocked.
Well, Cincinnati would be the hardest one to believe.
Yeah. What statistic, and I'll give you an example, do you think is going to be most exciting after those 4 games? So an example of a statistic might be the quarterback rating, like having Zach in the top 10 or the top 5. What statistics at this point in the season, 25% over, do you think are going to be very exciting to Jets fans?
I think that Zach will have like 6 or 7 touchdowns, not a ton in 4 games, but he'll have like 6 or 7, but only like 2 picks. So I think you're going to be looking at a 6-7-2 ratio. And I think that will be very exciting.
But that will get him in the top 10 quarterback rating if he's really there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the completion rate.
Yeah.
If he pushes over 60% and he has 200 yards a game passing, like,
is he going to do that?
Those are big steps. Those are big asks. Big asks.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think the Zach statistics are going to excite people. I think we mentioned it before. I think the Sauce Gardner is going to excite people. I think by that point, every Jet fan for sure is going to know we have a very special player.
Fantastic.
And then I think either, if not both, hopefully not neither, but like whichever one, Carl Lawson or Jermaine Johnson, I think one of them will be shining. One of them will be looking very good, at least one of them, and that will be very exciting.
Yeah. So what about turnovers? You think we'll have more turnovers already than we had last year?
No, that's the thing. I think that's one of going to be the reasons why I'm saying what we're going to be 2-2. Sorry. I think we're going to be about even. Maybe even have the advantage of 1 or 2 turnovers.
All right. Okay, so we get to play Miami, and I'm excited about this game because I do think this is a game where we could beat them. I had this as our first easier game, not easy, but easier game, and I think it could be 2 in a row. In my book, we go 2 and 3 here.
Where's the Miami game?
It's in New Jersey.
Yeah. I think this is the year we beat Miami at home.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I do.
You want to talk more about it?
I think that the biggest problem with Miami is Tua. That's their problem. Their problem is at quarterback, and their problem is they're stuck in that middle ground where he's being just good enough that they don't know he's a problem yet. So they're gonna cost themselves a season this year because of it. They'll actually, if they bench him, they're gonna find out they're better with Bridgewater.
I like Bridgewater.
So hopefully they won't bench him before we play them.
That'd be pretty quick. That would be very quick.
That would be really quick.
Yeah.
Miami's going to be a problem in years to come because they have a lot of draft capital. Yeah. And if they realize that they don't have the quarterback sooner than later, they're going to get a quarterback. And if that quarterback hits, they're going to be a problem.
Right, that's what everybody says. If my quarterback hits, and you really...
Yeah, but Miami truly does have a special team. I mean, they have a ton of good players on defense. Their secondary is special. They've made a lot of improvements to their offensive line, which is solid. They have a great wide receiver group. I mean, just an amazing wide receiver group. Amazing. Yeah. Really, really strong in the wide receiver area. They have a good receiving tight ends. They can easily build on that over the next year or two. They're not a bad team. We can't overlook them. We can't think we're going to have to take advantage of the Tua thing, but understand that this team outside of that is very dangerous and can't be overlooked. It's not like we're going to walk in there and this is an easy game. It's an easier game than perhaps Cincinnati or Baltimore, but
that's all I'm saying.
It's going to be a game where we have to be at our best. We have to come in there hungry, aggressive. We can't make mistakes. We can't make, we can't lose the turnover battle. We gotta be, things are going to have to go right to win that game. I just think it's time that we're going to. I think that we're hungry for that game. We're going to target that game. We're looking at that game, and I think we're really going to prioritize division games. I think that it's not just the fans saying it. I think the organization knows, the coaching staff knows, you cannot take the next step if you can't beat your divisional opponents. So I do think that it's a game that we're going to win, but it's going to be a hard-fought game, and it never comes easy against Miami.
By saying that Miami's going to come back afterwards in future years, you're kind of saying we have this window where we could beat them, and we better do it now because they're going to be really tough. I know you think we're going to be tough too.
I think we're going to be the toughest division. I think the AFC West is going to have their little run now, but I think that 3 years from now, it's going to be Miami, Jets, Buffalo. That's the cream of the crop in the AFC possibly.
That would be like one of those things where if you said 50 years ago, 80 years ago, Ronald Reagan is going to be president, people would think you're crazy because of their reality.
Again, if you're not the casual fan and you're looking at what these teams are doing, you could see why. You could see the nucleus is building in these teams. You could see what's going on with the Jets. Buffalo's already there. And you could see what's going on with Miami. People want to shit on Miami if they're Jets fans. I'm not going to let my dislike for our divisional opponents distort reality. Outside of quarterback, Miami's a great team, and people have got to recognize and understand that.
Okay, now we're done with Miami. You think we're 3-2?
Yeah,
right at this point. But now we go into Green Bay. We go into Green Bay. I had this obviously as we lose.
This is going to be the first convincing loss for us. It's not even going to be that it comes down to a wire or anything. We're just going to flat out lose the game.
So you think they have us that well beat? I do. I think so as well. I just thought you'd have more details.
Well, I think that our defense is is, they're going to expose the hell out of us. Like Aaron Rodgers is going to expose the hell out of the defense. He has a quick release. He gets rid of the ball fast. He reads well, the defense. So yeah, we might break through. We're not going to give him all day or anything. Our defensive line's much improved, but he's going to just hit up. He's going to eat us alive on those short passes. He can go off script. He can run and break free and flick the ball. He's got, we're just not going to be able to stop him. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to light us up for 40 points, but he's going to put up a solid 28 to 34 points.
Okay. I want you to put your thinking hat on now. Okay. Cause it's too easy to say they're great. They're going to light us up. If we are to win that game, what's going to go right for us?
We are going to pressure the hell out of him. He's not going to have the time. We're going to have him on the run the whole game. We're going to make Aaron Rodgers super, super uncomfortable, and it'll be because they don't have the receivers. It'll be because they lost their receivers. They have Christian Watson, a rookie who I love, but he's a rookie. It'll be because our secondary, like Sauce Gardner and Reed are all over their receivers. Aaron won't have anywhere to throw the ball. Michael Carter the seconds. And CJ Mosley will hold down their linebackers, and we'll be able to stop their running game. Like we'll be able to stop the run. So that'll be like, if we were to win the game, how did we do it? We rattled the hell out of Aaron Rodgers. Our defensive line just stepped up and showed up to that game, and we're unbelievable.
So awesome offense. If the defense somehow plays amazing, then our offense will take care of business and we'll win.
Well, yeah, and the other part of that would go hand in hand with that is that our offense wins on the line of scrimmage, and we eat up a lot of minutes. Keep Aaron off the field so he doesn't get into that rhythm. So a lot of long drives, a lot of pounding the ball. First down, like Breece Hall over 100 yards rushing, Michael Carter 50 to 80 yards rushing. Short passes by those like really good running back games, some tight end receptions, a lot of short stuff, just long sustained drives.
All right. So you have us back at 500, and now we're at Denver, back-to-back on the road. I actually think this is a win. Just because new coach, new quarterback, I am thinking we do it. We take this game. What are you laughing at me?
I wish that would be great. If it'd be great.
It sounds like you disagree.
Look, I would love to win that game. I think the thing that kills me about that game is that it's in Denver. It's very hard to play at that altitude when you're not used to it, when you're not adjusted. And I just don't think that we're going to be able to overcome that challenge. We're too young of a team. I just don't think we have the caliber team yet as far as veterans and even in the coaching staff to really get over a hump like that. I think Russell Wilson has still got a lot left in his tank. He's a special player. He's going to be super motivated. He's going to be like Stafford was for the Rams last year. Like Wilson's going to be super, super hyped up and about this opportunity to prove that he's still the man. And I think they're going to be very hard to beat. I think they could probably go 7-1, 8-1, depending on how many times they play at home. But I can honestly see them going the whole year and only losing once in the regular season at home.
Wow.
Yeah, I could see them being very dominant.
I guess in my mind, I really like Wilson a lot, but he wasn't so great last year. I don't know that just because he wants to show everybody that he'll be able to. Seattle didn't think so.
I don't know. I think he had the thing with the finger, and he'll come back healthy this year. So
okay, so we both have the Jets at 3-4 now, and New England comes to town.
Well, that's going to be the biggest moment of the season for us. That's going to be the game.
And I want to tell you right now, I have that as a win when they're in Jersey.
I think we're going to beat them at home, and that's going to be the pivotal turning point where the last of the doubters, because even at 3-4, you might have some people saying, oh my God, this is a different Jets already. People will recognize that. You'll still have the idiots though, right? That only look at one thing in record. 3-4, we still stink, we still lose. Same old Jets, right? You'll still have those morons. But that's going to be the game to me that says the Miami game wasn't a fluke. We are a real team in this division. We are a competitive team in this division. We are now a team that can beat our divisional opponents. And it's going to be such a big game for us. And I think our matching up against them is going to go very, very well. I think that their secondary took a hit. And I think their defensive line is very suspect. I think we're going to be able to run on them. I think we're going to be able to then set up play action passes. And I think our wide receivers, I think we're going to have a lot of big plays in that game. I think we're going to expose them.
W squared, baby.
I think we're going to expose Bill Belichick this time. I think we're going to expose him. And I think that their quarterback, Mac Jones, we're going to just play the short. We're going to do everything we can to take away the short game from him. We're not afraid of him deep. We got Sauce Gardner and Reed. I'm not afraid, and I don't think they're going to be afraid. They'll challenge him. They'll say, if you want to go one-on-one and go deep against our guys, go ahead. We hope you do, because we'll make them pay. I think we're going to focus on taking away the middle of the field, the short stuff, and I think we're going to make it very, very difficult for New England. And I think we're going to expose them as, guess what? The Jets are here, and now we've passed you.
How many years of the last, 15 have you felt that the Jets could take this game?
Well, this is the first time. I mean, we haven't beaten them since 2015, and this is probably the last year that we realistically had a chance to beat them. We've sucked ever since. So, but this is, I know it's fast and it's a quick turnaround, but last year, if Zach doesn't go down in that second game, we don't know what's going to happen. If Zach doesn't throw the 4 interceptions, if we didn't get off to that horrendous start, that might have been a much more competitive game than people think. I think Buffalo really exposed New England at the end there. I think they really created a blueprint of how to beat them and what Mac Jones' limitations are.
Yeah.
And if we're serious about this and we're going to take a turn this year, and this is going to be our turning point year where we break through with 8 to 9 wins, if that's going to happen for the New York Jets, we have to win this game. This is just the Miami game and the New England game are just crucial, critical games for us.
Yeah. So we both have them. And that's kind of interesting, is it kind of takes us around halfway through the season and we're at 500, that'd be quite amazing.
Well, it's also very exciting when you're going to look at the last 6-7 games of the schedule. So getting 4 wins before the bye week is going to be very excited for the non-casual fan. Like anyone who's not a casual fan that understands it's looking at the schedule, they're going to understand the significance of being 4-4 and what the opportunity might be in that.
So I don't think we're going to stay at 500 very long, and not in a good way. And let me say why, because then we have Buffalo coming to town, and they really look good, I thought. And I think they will continue to improve.
Yeah, we're not ready for Buffalo yet. It would have to be a trap game. It would have to be Buffalo like Jacksonville last year. Like we just caught them on a bad week. It would have to be something freakish. Josh Allen is injured. I mean, it would literally have to be some weird shit happen to their year. But if Buffalo comes in healthy, this is their time right now. It's not our time. It's not our time. It's our time to improve and take a step forward and show that we're in this league now. But it's not our time to beat Buffalo.
Okay,
they're just too far ahead of us and where we're going.
I'm going to take you back to something that I asked earlier when we were talking today, and that is, what will you be happy about, though? What will happen during that Buffalo game that will make you feel that, yes, you expected to lose, but you still feel pretty good about the Jets?
That we will be able to run some against them. We'll be able to put some points up against them. It's not going to be a shutout. They're not going to beat us 30-0 or 30-3 or 27-3. Like it 34-7. It's not going to be some ugly game. That we're going to stand with them for the first half. They'll slowly pull away a little. And then in the third quarter, they'll probably pull away near the end, halfway through the third quarter, and establish themselves. But we won't embarrass ourselves. And that'll be the good takeaway. The fact that we're able to get some kind of running game against them, we're able to run the ball a little bit, that Zach's not going to fall apart. He'll do what he did last year. He won't have big numbers, but he won't make big mistakes. He'll protect the football, so it won't be a rout.
No bad news Bears, right?
No bad news Bears. No Rutgers versus Alabama.
Yeah.
Like not that kind of game. They might beat us by 13 points or something, but it's not going to be where we're embarrassed.
It's going to be football.
Run over. It's going to be a football game. Maybe they win, I don't know, 27-17 or 30-17 or something like that. But it'll be a game. And in the first half, when the first half ends, it'll still be a game.
Yeah. Okay, so this next game is kind of freaky to me. I thought there was a mistake in the schedule. Maybe I got a bad copy. It looks like the next week we go to New England. Like it's New England, Buffalo, New England. It just seemed insane to me. But it also seems like it's going to be really tough for us to win a second time, this time in New England. I think this is where, to me, we fall 2 games under 500, 4-6 now, going into New England. No?
No, I think you're right. I think
You're
right.
saying it's the easier half, but it seems like it's
right. We're a better team, but I think in New England, Belichick will find a way. He'll do some squirmy stuff. He'll take advantage of our coaching staff being in their second year.
He'll cheat.
Whatever he does, he's going to figure it out. He's going to find some way to beat us. It's going to be an ugly game, and he's going to find a way to win it.
So what you say it'd be an ugly game. I mean, it's going to be super tight until the end. Is it going to be a heartbreaker?
Yeah, they'll just be dirty hits. There'll be like calls that go against us because New England always gets calls and stuff. There'll be some annoying calls. There'll just be some ugly things. It'll be low scoring. And he's just going to find a way to steal the game. Maybe that's the game where a field goal kicker costs us the game. Special teams, big play. He's just going to find a way to take it from us.
Is that the game where Jeremy's chaos head explodes?
No, I mean 4-6 is not thrilling to me, but I'm going to be excited about the last 7 games, and I'm setting reasonable expectations this year. Because at 4-6, I'm still going to be thinking we have a good chance still now with what's left on the schedule to take that, to still it be a really big step. And I'll think that Zach is still overall okay. Like I think out of those first 10 games, he's going to be really good in 7 to 8 of them, and in a couple of them be really special. And be, like very special, and I'll feel good about Zach. So I think I'll be okay with the 4-6, but I will be saying that the next few games are an absolute must. Like we cannot lose to the teams that we're capable of beating.
I disagree. I think your head is going to literally explode, and I'm going to have to clean it up off the floor during this game. This is the game where, based on actually the Jets doing better, you're going to start to get ahead of yourself. And then in the game, they're going to be ahead at some point. And you're going to think we could really do it. And then the cheat will happen. Then the bullshit thing will happen. And your head, you're going to get all upset. And you're going to hate the game of football. And your head's going to pop.
Look, it's very possible that all that will happen. It's very possible that my head will explode. But I'm trying to be very grounded and reasonable here and realistic.
It's not called Jets Chaos with Jeremy because you don't go chaos crazy.
We're going to be 4-6, but but the people who know about football, people who are following this, are going to know it's respectable. They're going to see what our schedule was like, and they're going to think, "Wow, this is surprising. This is a different Jets team."
I hope you're right. We were a different team last year. I know we didn't meet your expectations or even mine. But there were games where we looked like a real football team, a lot of games.
Yeah.
And that was a big improvement, I thought last season. You better be right this season because you make me waste a whole bunch of time on this shit. Okay. Okay. We're 4-6. Chicago comes to town. Okay. Now Chicago to me this is like the easiest game. I'm like, finally, to me, an easy game.
We are going to eat them alive. Our defensive line, we're going to beat them on the trenches on both sides of the ball. We're going to dominate the trenches. It's not because of Justin Fields. I don't think he's good. It's just that he's not going to have a chance because our defensive line is going to swallow him. He's going to be swallowed. We're going to have to put a spy on him. We're going to have like one of the safeties, like an Ashton Davis. There's going to have to be someone that's assigned to him to spy him and to not let him beat us with his legs. But that's the only threat they have. Otherwise, he's going to be on the run. We are going to dominate them. Their offensive line is absolutely horrendous. It might be the bottom 5 in the NFL offensive line. Our defensive line is going to be licking their chops. They're going to have a field day. And then offensively, we're going to wear them down because we're going to put their defense on the field so much that's going to set up our running backs, Breece Hall and Michael Carter, for some big plays because they're going to get tired. We're going to wear them down, and you're going to see some huge running plays. You're going to see us explode on them. I honestly think that's going to be that's our blowout game, a game most likely that we're actually going to win by 15-plus points.
What you didn't get to is, to me, the running game then opens up the passing game. Like, me, this is going to be a game full of, like, those kind of passes that you get from, like, a Drew Brees, like just tons and tons of wonderful passes, big gains.
And it's the kind of game where, like, Garrett Wilson might open it up.
Yeah.
Like, this would be your breakout Garrett Wilson game because we get up with a lead. We're pounding the ball. We're doing some play action. We got Elijah, Corey Day. We got, like enough of a threat, and they're terrified of our running backs. And then you have Garrett Wilson get a nice one-on-one matchup. And this kid is a 4.3 runner, and it doesn't matter that he's a rookie because he's got one guy on him, and he cuts across the field. He gets wide open, and Zach puts it in his chest.
I could see that play in my mind. I can see that play.
I could see Garrett Wilson just exploding on that game, and that during that game, that being his game, really opening it up. So, I see it as being maybe one of our easier games, and I see us winning it convincingly.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope it happens sooner for Wilson, but I think that game I could just, like, see explosions going on.
Yeah, he might have a couple of already just from, like, end zone type plays where, he's just a small guy running in the back of the end zone and Wilson finds him in the middle or something. He slips out of coverage or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping we get a highlight reel out of that game. I don't think we have a lot of games like that where we just can take a breather. I'm not saying breathe. That's how you lose games, right?
They're gonna have a huge problem in Chicago. I mean, I could see Chicago potentially being a bottom 3 team in the NFL this year. Yeah.
Okay, so now we go to colder than New Jersey, Minnesota, and I think Minnesota's a tough team. I think they play under where they could be. A lot of years, but I mean, to me, that's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be hard in Minnesota. I think we're gonna lose that game.
I think we're gonna scrape it out and win.
You think we're gonna win that game?
It's gonna be a hard-fought game, but we're gonna win. We're gonna have our confidence up. Our players are gonna feel great about what they're capable of, and I think that we're gonna win that game. I think that Kirk Cousins, when he's in close games, he can't deliver. I think we're going to put pressure on him at the end, and we're going to stop Kirk Cousins. I think that's the game you'll see Gardner get a pick 6. You'll see Gardner step up. That Kirk Cousins is the kind of ego that thinks he's better than he is. He's going to try to go after Gardner. He's going to throw to that side, and he's going to pay a price for it.
So that's going to be a tough game up in Minnesota. Let me just say to you, Mr. 7-10 guy, you bringing us right out of the gates here. You're saying we're 6-6 now after this game.
Yeah, I kind of changed. Like, I didn't tell you before the show, but like I changed my final predictions for what our record's going to be. Boys, everybody out there, you know me. I'm not going to let you down. The chaos is coming out.
I think I gave them a higher record than you did, and I had them losing this game. So now I'm even more interested in the next few games and what you have to say here, because now you've got us winning 2 in a row, and we're going into Buffalo, and I certainly have us getting beat hard by Buffalo.
Yeah, we dropped to 6-7. That's the prime of the year for Buffalo. This is when Buffalo is stepping into gear. If we have any chance of upsetting Buffalo in those 2 games, if you told me we won one of those games, it's the first time we play them because they're not in gear yet. Now they're going into playoff Super Bowl gear, right? They're getting ready. They're gearing up. They're starting to fine-tune, put the oil in the engine. They're going to roll right over us.
So, I believe that. I kind of believe that too, but I have to challenge you, Mr. We're going to beat Minnesota. And if we're 6-6, aren't we a little bit pumped for this game? Aren't we in the locker room talking about beating this team?
We're just going to be brought back to earth. We're going to be reminded. We're going to be reminded that this is a process. And we're not with the elite teams. We're not going to go into Buffalo and beat an elite team like Buffalo. They're just simply ahead of us.
What's the worst thing that happens during this game? Like, what's the headline? How do they destroy us?
They're just gonna defensively. They're gonna win the trenches. On that day, they're gonna win. They're gonna do trick things. Their big names are going to step up with the guy they got like Von Miller. Like their big names are going to just make big plays. Their veterans are going to be veterans. Josh Allen, Diggs are going to connect somehow. Some trick plays. They're going to have some big plays against us. We're just going to be down on the team. They're going to take the breath out of us. They're still like, we still have to get, and that'll be the next year. That'll be the season afterwards. We still have to get to that final piece of like where we're not playing so many inexperienced guys, and we still have a little bit of a hump to get over.
It's easy for you now. Season hasn't started, won't start for months, for you to put the old logic hat on. But if we're in the season and it's 6-6, you're going to be a different Jeremy. You're going to be looking how we can win this game. You're not going to be calm, and neither are the Jets.
Yeah, I'm going to hope I'm wrong and that our offensive line could dominate their defensive line and we could run the ball the whole freaking day. That's what I'm going to hope. I'm going to hope that we did what the Niners did a few years ago when they passed 10 times the whole game and they basically rushed for 300 yards and beat, I forget who it was, when they, like the Rams or someone, where they won a playoff game to get to the Super Bowl and all they did was run the whole game. Something like that, where we literally eat up 40 minutes of the clock. Like we hold the ball for 40 minutes and just dominate on the ground and they can't stop us. I'll be hoping and praying for that, but I'm trying to be realistic. But yes, at that time, I'm not going to say we lost the game. I'm not watching, or I'm watching, but we definitely lost. I'm going to be hoping we find a way to steal the game, but it'll be ugly and dirty the way we do it. It'll be literally just ground and pounds and like just protecting the football and bringing it down to the end and stealing a win.
I obviously I think we're going to lose this game, but I think we'll be heartbroken. We're going to be heartbroken.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt.
Yeah,
And it's going to suck, but it's not going to be completely unexpected.
Yeah.
So we'll be 6-7, and I'll remind myself that 6-7 is pretty damn good with this schedule, and that we were 4-13 last year.
And after Buffalo, of course, we get to go home. I hate to say home to New Jersey because I want to say New York, but and Detroit comes to town, and I have to say I'm a happy guy again. It's like Chicago. I mean, I do think that this is a game that we're going to win, and we're going to win handily.
Yeah, we don't want to sleep on them because they are a competitive team and they play competitively. But at home, we're going to beat them. We're not going to lose the game. We're going to win that game. It might be tough. They might scare us into the third quarter even, but we're going to win the game. We're going to come out 7-7.
Which is that's a great place to be. I think, considering where we've been for quite a long time, 7-7 is a great place to be.
Well, we've established the floor. We must have 7 games this year. So like that game will come out and say, we've done the floor. We've done what we absolutely had to do. Not necessarily that's all we want to do, but what we did, what we absolutely had to do. We needed to come into this year and get at least 7 wins. Nothing under that is acceptable. So we'll at least hit the level of we did what we absolutely had to do. We're 7-7. We still have 3 games to build on that and be even better.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I'll let you wait. Well, I won't even say what I have for the last 3 games. We'll get there. But I think there'll be a lot of celebrating. I mean, just being 500 this late in the season with a great game against Detroit. It'll just be a great game, and we'll see what we're capable of. But are we going to be last place in our division, or are we going to be above Miami at this point?
At 7-7?
Above New England? Yeah. Where are we going to be
above New England. We'll be above New England.
And where will Miami be here?
They'll be about 7-7.
So a weak division except Buffalo.
Yeah. They'll be like 8-6, 7-7. They'll be right there with us.
Yeah. Yeah. But no hope for wild card because there's some great teams right in the conference. Yeah. Okay. So Jacksonville comes to town.
We're going to beat them.
I think we're going to beat them too.
We're going to beat them.
Yeah. Jacksonville, I think, is still trying to figure things out. I don't think they're ready.
Got a lot of mercenaries, not young, exciting players, mercenaries. People that had to overpay to play for them. Bunch of random guys.
How are they going to be, Jacksonville, for the season?
They'll be okay. They'll win 6 or 7 games. They'll win 6 games, maybe 7. So they'll be improved. Trevor Lawrence will be better. He's going to have more tools and weapons. Their defense will be better, and they'll have some good games defensively. They're not going to be an easy win for us. Their defense is tough. We'll beat them. We're going to have to beat them on the ground a lot too. We're going to have to mix it up a lot. We're not going to just be able to, have Zach step back and air it out on them, but we're going to have to wear him down. We're going to have to wear him down with our offensive line, win that battle in the trenches, get those play action plays going, make some big plays, but we're going to beat them.
And I like that it's at home. Who's going to win at this point in the season? Because this is going to put us at 8-7, and probably they're going to be under 500 at this point. The quarterback battle. Is the whole league going to say it's Zach? Zach is the better quarterback, or is it still going to be questionable?
I think it's going to be very close and questionable because of the style of our offense. I think we're going to use the running game a lot. So I think Zach's going to be very much improved. But it's not going to be like Trevor is going to be doing it impressingly, right? He's going to throw it a lot, air it out a lot, be, wowing people a lot. Zach will have those wow plays, but overall, Zach's going to be a game manager. Like we're going to get to where we are on this team more balanced. We're going to be running a lot. We're going to take advantage of our offensive line. We're going to be doing a lot of grounding and pounding, and then doing some play action. He's going to be a good game manager. He's going to make the passes that he has to make on third down. He's going to protect the football. He's going to be a much better quarterback, but he's not going to be lighting it up yet. He's not going to be wowing the league. They're going to say, oh, the Jets are a lot better. It's not like going to be a Mahomes type year. It's just going to be like Matt Jones was last year. Like people are going to say, oh, wow, this guy, if you put the right team around him, could do everything you ask of him and do the right things. He's not going to have that jump yet. He's going to start to show flashes, though. We're going to know we have our quarterback, I think.
As a fan, I'm super excited to see the airing it out. I love that. Just love it. I know you do, too.
Yeah.
But really, to win for the future, you need a general. You need a capable general.
Yeah, he'll be somewhere 16 to 20 in the league, 16th to 20th quarterback, and that'll be fine. As long as it's an efficient quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, he's not making the same mistakes. As long as he's doing that, year 3, it'll be different. It's going to start to turn for him. But this year,
you're being so measured, Jeremy. Where's the chaos?
But this year, it's not what he's trying to do. Then there might be some games where we're behind, where he's going to amaze us, that he's going to make crazy throws that have us jumping out of the seat, because his talent is still ridiculous. Well, he still has this insane talent that people are going to see flashes of.
So you're putting us at 9-7 now.
8-7.
8-7.
Yeah.
Okay. To be an 8-7 team, you've got to have 1 or 2 come from behind wins, which means you've got to have a quarterback that can throw 6 out of 7 complete passes.
Yeah, I'm not worried about
get out of bounds into the corner.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Like that's why we're going to feel good about Zach Wilson, because when he has to, he's going to be there.
Okay. All right. So you have us at 8-7. I have us at 7-8 at this point, but I have us winning our 3rd game in a row here in Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm excited about that game because I live near Seattle now. My kids live there. I think we could take this game.
Well, we are.
They lost Wilson.
We are. There's no reason why we can't beat that team. Their best quarterback is Geno Smith. That's their best quarterback on their roster right now, Geno Smith. We're going to beat them. We're going to harass them. We're going to get turnovers.
Which quarterback are we going to be going up against?
I don't know. It could be Locke or Geno Smith. I wouldn't be surprised if Geno Smith pushed Locke out, because Locke sucks. That late in the year, I could see Geno Smith. I think they drafted a young kid too, but I don't think he'll be ready year 1. Maybe by that time they'll be using him just for the hell of it, to give him some snaps, because they're out of it, which would be great, because then we'll just eat the rookie up alive.
And do you think we'll be rebuilding it? That they are rebuilding at this point? That's their
they're rebuilding. They're rebuilding. Yeah.
So for them, they're just thinking about the draft choice. They're thinking, I hope we don't win because we need our draft choice.
Maybe, yeah.
We need our quarterback.
We're gonna roll on them.
So you also have us winning 3 in a row.
Oh yeah.
I have us getting back to 500. You have us at 10-6.
No,
9-7.
9-7.
9-7.
Oh yeah.
9-7. Now I have us winning 4 in a row now. I think we're going into Miami at 500, and they're going to be not much better, and we're going to take it from them because we're going to be gelled by this point in the season. We're going to want it more, and we're going to make it happen. 4 in a row. I'm stealing your thunder. What do you say?
I think we're going to beat Miami and go finish the year 10-7.
That's awesome. Tell me about that game.
We're going to, again, run the ball, win in the trenches that way. We're going to have good ball control, make some big plays. I think Zach is really going to be opening it up and having fun. I think by that time, those last few games, winning and everything, he's going to start to feel like the BYU Zach Wilson, the guy who's not afraid to just go through the progressions but make the tough throw. He's going to be feeling the rhythm. By that time, he's going to feel like an NFL quarterback. He's going to start showing those last few games, and it's going to end in Miami of what he's going to be. He's going to leave us with this great taste in our mouths of we're going to have a very special quarterback, and we're going to start to see some big things from him. So we're going to do lots of play actions, nice big plays. It'll be a little bit of a shootout. Tyreek Hill will find a way, bust open some short passes. I think it'll be a bit of a shootout. They'll score some points. But I think at the end, our defensive line will step up, make some big plays. I think Sauce Gardner or Reed, somebody, or maybe Whitehead, someone will force a turnover. I think we take that game in the fourth quarter and we win. And we leave the season feeling really good at 10-7.
Yeah, well, that's outstanding. I mean, it's still probably not playoffs, but that's going to be an outstanding feeling. 10-7.
It'll feel like
right.
It'll feel like the playoffs for us. It'll feel like a year that we made the playoffs. It'll feel like it's not going to matter. Like it will for the idiots, the bozos who don't know anything, but for the most knowledgeable fans, most of the fan base, it will be a celebration because we're all going to understand what it means. 10-7 means playoffs the year after.
If we're in the playoff hunt. If we're in the playoff hunt at all, it's going to mean something to everybody.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to shake that
right.
feeling,
Yeah.
So what are the big, I'm not going to make it say 3 or 5, but what are the big positive headlines for the season?
Positive headlines is that Zach will have taken his big step because he'll be a much different quarterback. He'll have managed the season very well. He's going to have a very good touchdown to interception ratio. He'll have 3,500 plus yards, like decent, a little over 200 yards a game. Breece Hall will establish himself as a top 12 running back in the NFL, but just only as a rookie.
1,000 yards?
Very good chance.
Woo!
Yeah. I mean, the only reason he wouldn't is if we balance it more with Michael Carter, who's very, special as well. But he'll be established as top 10, possible top 5 elite running back in the future. That'll be established. Jeremy Ruckert hopefully will come in and get some action and show that he's going to be a solid tight end in the NFL as he gets older. Garrett Wilson will, Elijah Moore will have had his breakout year. He'll have 900 plus yards, 70 plus receptions. Garrett Wilson will look and have his flashes, and everyone will be excited about his future. Sauce Gardner will be established as we're going to be all convinced we have our new Revis. We have our new elite cornerbacks, cornerback ones, elite cornerback, future best cornerback in the league.
No, these are all things that you think now, and you think that's what's going to happen, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. On defense, same thing. We're going to say the linebackers aren't very good, and what are we going to say about defense?
I think our defense, we're going to say we still need linebackers. That's what's stopping us from being a 13-14 win team. I think that's what's stopping us from competing against teams like Buffalo and Denver. And we're probably going to need another step-up safety, like another free safety type guy. We have an in-the-box safety.
You think those things now, right?
Yeah, I think because part of why part of what we might have games where we struggle because we don't have the depth at offensive line. Maybe some guys will miss a game or two, and we're going to have a little problems there. Like there'll be little things like that.
Okay, so tell me, now I want this. This is what I want from you.
Mm-hmm.
What is something you haven't thought of before? What is going to be a surprise to you? I know it's hard to open up your brain like that. But what's the most likely thing, good or bad, where you're off and something is going to be a surprise, a great or really bad surprise for the year? That's a good question, buddy boy. I'll give you one.
What's yours?
You haven't mentioned Mimsy. Mimsy is going to be a receiver that you start to count on.
Okay.
It's not that much of one, but it's one. It's one.
It's one. It's something. It's something. I think that we're going to, I guess on a little negative is I just think that our linebackers and our safety rooms are going to hurt us a little bit and show us that why we're not a championship team. I think that it's going to be the reason, but that wouldn't be such a surprise. I think if anything, a surprise just might be, maybe that our offensive line is impacted more by McGovern than we think, and we're going to need to really focus on getting a better center and still having some work to do on the offensive line.
So here's my real surprise that I think is going to happen, that I know in your heart you believe. Mm-hmm. We're going to see more big plays out of Zach than one would think after watching this show. I think we're going to have bigger games, bigger plays. And here's why I think that, because I can't get out of my head that time when he kind of was scrambling and he was in trouble and he kind of gave the motion to a receiver to go. And on the run, he flicked that puppy 50, 60 yards for a fantastic pass for a touchdown. I see that guy, and I don't think anything's holding him back. If he gets an opportunity, and I think he will with this offensive line, I think he's going to rip it.
I think he's definitely going to have some games where he flashes. We're going to start to see the Zach Wilson we drafted. We're going to see a lot more of those flashes. There's going to be a lot of great, exciting plays, and that's why we're going to go 10-7.
10-7, baby. I say 9-8, but I want 10-7. I think if we go 10-7, we have a chance at the playoffs. So
yeah, there's definitely a chance we get a wild card spot.
And if we're
remember that AFC West is going to beat the hell out of each other.
If that Miami game is about making the playoffs, that's going to be one hell of a game.
That's going to be one hell of a game.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we have to wrap it up. Otherwise, other brothers will be very upset with me. Indian food, here I come. I want to thank everybody who watched live in the chat. Sorry to ignore you, but we wanted to keep this more of a show format. But I'm glad you guys were able to make it, and I hope everyone that watches this afterwards enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. And if you really like the content and you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you really like this show, definitely hit that like button. We'll be live on Wacky Wednesday. We'll be back. Can't wait to do it. Take all, everybody, and I will leave you with this. Oh yeah. Go. Amazing. That's my boy. He breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down.
Oh, Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch.
He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too.
It's no good. Overtime. Oh, what a catch. How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown.
This is a touchdown all the way.
He reached over the pylon.